show you is how to attach your clay, your foot ring, and handle to your clay pot to form it into a cup using the score and slip method and blending. So, scoring is simply an act of scraping into the clay to make a rough surface. Right now I'm using my fork because it does a really good job roughing up the clay. I don't have to work so hard. You could also use a pencil to do so. If you don't have one, you can just mark it up like that, but you gotta really rough it up. You can't just do a couple marks and think it's gonna be good to attach the clay. So the reasoning behind this is you're making grooves in the clay so that when you come to the point where you get to attach it, you're going to be adding water to it, and these grooves are going to create like a little mud pocket. Let's call them mud pockets. I think I just made that up. So here is your ring. I gotta smooth this guy out a bit, make it look prettier. Okay, and if you need to, you can always add water. It's starting to dry up. Water is your friend. Never start working in clay without water. Okay, so here we go. Scratching, 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 scratching. Or this is scoring. This is the act of scoring your clay. Okay, like so. I'm scoring it. And now I want to make my slip, which is like considered muddy clay. Really muddy, watery clay. And I can do that by just adding a little bit of water to my surface of where I scored it. And what's going to happen is that's going to activate these little grooves, and it's going to make it muddy. And from here, you take now that both sides are muddy, it's got to be this side and this side, both pieces, the pot itself and then the foot. You press it into the clay, like so. Now, that is not enough, because next thing that you need to do is smooth that in. Smooth it into the piece. So I'm just taking my finger and I'm just smoothing it right in like so. Okay, smoothing it in, blending it in, making it attach, making it cohesive. Looks like it's just a part of the clay. I'm going to do that on the inside too. If you do not do this, if you skip these steps and just stick it to the clay like that, any piece of clay, it's going to fall off in the kiln. I guarantee it. And then there's no way of gluing it back. It's a total pain in the butt. It's pretty much done. So don't do that. Don't skip steps. If you skip steps, you're only hurting yourself. Don't skip steps. This is not hard. Okay, so that took like 20 seconds of my life. And I just blended this in, and it's not going to fall off. So there you go. That is my foot. Kind of pretty. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing for my handle. So I wanted to I'm going to use this handle. Just keep it kind of short. I'm going to probably curve it up a little bit, give it some shape. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my score marks on my clay. Score marks like so. Using my fork because it's a time saver. If you have an old fork, use it. Or borrow a fork and wash it and return it to the kitchen when you're done. Okay. Scoring this area. Okay. Next, I'm going to add just a smidgen of water. A little bit of water, like so. And I'm going to attach it just like I did my foot. Da-da-da-da. blending it in because I want to blend in everything, make sure it's secure. Something you have to be aware of when your pots are drying out, you gotta let them dry slowly, especially these handles. These handles, because they're thinner than the rest of the piece, when they dry, they're gonna shrink up and they're gonna wanna crack right here. So you gotta babysit this little thing. Okay, now, I wanna let this thing dry out slowly before I put it into the kiln. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna take this, my extra bag, and I'm just gonna cover it up very loosely like this, okay? It's open on the bottom, but it's covered up so it can dry out slow. And I'm gonna let it stay like this for a day. And then I'm gonna keep it there so it dries out nice and slow. Okay, and that's it.